What we really want to say is, rather than thinking about beliefs that you want to change, because when you think of something that needs to change, you're looking right at it, and it's not changing, it's getting stronger. Every time you look at it, it grows deeper roots and more branches. In other words, it goes down and out. And so when you instead think about what you'd like to think about, what we've been saying for a little while is that the way to stop practicing beliefs that you no longer want to perpetuate is by making them more and more general. Now, that's what your tree analogy was about.
Right.
But in your analogy, from our perspective, the leaves on the tree are the more specific. The branches are the more general. But also in your analogy, the branches were the more core beliefs. And so you're sort of getting in your own way about that.
Yep.
Just in general terms, when you are general, you are less specific. Write that down. That's really important.
That was good.
Truths of the universe happen here. When you are general, you are less specific. When you are less specific, there is less momentum. So if you can go back to the general that is easier for you to align with, back to the general that is easier for you to find harmony with the source within you. Once you stabilize there, then from that stable, non-resisted vibration, now new evidences of that will fill out the branches of your tree. Well, let's get back to the really core of who you are. From the source energy perspective of who you are. So there is not believing, and then there is hoping, and then there is believing, and then there is knowing. That's sort of the continuum of this vibration of belief. So the source within you knows these things about you. And if you want to talk about core beliefs, we think these are the beliefs that we would be focused upon. You are worthy beyond description, and you are brilliant beyond description. You are good. You are source. That is your core. And every bit of moving from that is a flawed premise and a distortion. So there are so many things that humans focus upon out here in the physical world that contradicts their core beliefs. Now, there are many more we can go for. A core belief, a source energy, core belief is that all really is well, that we are eternal beings. So think about how many things that you might stumble across in a day that contradict that knowing that the source within you holds, that well-being does abound. So maybe it would be easier for you to just say, well, I've got one core belief, and that's in well-being. And anytime I deviate from that, then I get crossways of what the source within me really knows. So then you take that knowing that source within you holds, knows, is, and understand that source, inner being, whatever you want to call it, is focused right here out on the leading edge with you, right here in the moment where you're doing whatever it is you're doing, with all of that knowing, that core believing, that opinioning, all of that focused right here with you. And you can tell in every single moment what your deviation of that core is. You can just tell. So we really want to say to you, we don't want to be impertinent, but we sort of kind of do. We want to be so blunt. What difference does it make how many different ways you all have figured out to deviate from the core premise of well-being? In other words, because when you start counting them, those are the things that you're counting. There's just a belief in well-being, a knowing in well-being, an expectation of well-being. And you know what? Well-being continues and continues and continues. This earth spins in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets. Every now and again, something will happen, and Esther and friends will say, oh, wow, can you believe that the law of attraction and the universe is so good that they could provide that kind of rendezvous so that we could have that fun? Esther pulled into the hotel yesterday in her new Denali, and when she pulled in, she was talking to Jerry all the way because she and Jerry, they got lost every time they came downtown. Every time they came downtown. But yesterday, she didn't get lost, and she said, you're much better now, Jerry. that broader view thing's really working out. And when she pulled up to the ramp, her odometer read 2222. And Esther goes, wow, oh wow, that must have been why I turned over there to throw my trash away, so that it would be right at 2222. And we say, that's child's play. We keep your Earth spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity with other planets. In other words, do you have any idea how much consciousness and well-being is focused upon all that you are? Find any little piece of anything that feels good and give it your undivided attention, and call it my core belief for today.
Yeah.
My core belief for today. Esther has a bumper sticker. It's not a bumper sticker, it's a dash card plaque. Some of you may have them too. And when you look at it, you can't read it because it's all backwards. But when you lay it on your dash, it reflects into the window and it says, things are always working out for me. That's your core belief. Things are always working out for me. In what way, in this moment, can the universe demonstrate to me the goodness that is me, the clarity that is me, the love that is me, the worthiness that is me? And the demonstrations are so powerful. But you all are like little prickly pears that are just sort of holding it off. Well, I picked up this belief when I was in the 2nd grade and this one in the 3rd grade. And my mother never stopped drumming this one into my head. And so I'm a broken person, Abraham. I can't accept the perfection that is me quite yet. And we say, well, get on with it, will you? Begin looking for the evidence of your well-being. And as you start looking for that, you'll begin to find it. Yeah. So how do things manifest anywhere? Where did this stuff come from? Is it being trucked in from other planets? It isn't, is it? In other words, how's it manifesting? How are you realizing what you're realizing? Well, it's a vibrational interpretation that is becoming this perception that you have. We know it's when you're born into reality, it's not the easiest thing to understand how it got there. But we want you to understand that things are changing because of your attention to them. So vibrations are turning to thoughts, and thoughts are turning to things. The emphasis that we want to place is upon your realization. So we want to talk about the manifesting process. What is the process of manifesting? Well, really, the very first manifestational evidence that you receive about your mix of thoughts, which is what you are creating, that's your mixing bowl, are the emotions that you feel. An emotion, what could be more manifested than something that you feel so powerfully? And when you think about it, just a little aside, everything that you or anyone wants or has ever wanted, you want because you believe you will feel better in the having of it. Whether it's a pile of money or a material object or an event or a circumstance or a relationship, everything that you want is because you think you will feel better. Well, when you think about it in the way that we're presenting it to you here, one of the first things that manifests is the emotion. The emotion that helps you to understand your vibrational content. The next thing that manifests is thought. Now, we want to be very vibrationally accurate. You have a thought and then you have an emotional response to it. So really the thought and the emotion are happening simultaneously. But we want you to notice first the emotion and then put the emphasis upon the thought that has caused the emotion. It'll be a really good way for you to perpetuate this momentum, because more momentum, then the easier it is for you to continue this thought. So when you are in that vibrational place where your vortex is in this high, pure vibration, and you are too, for whatever reason, maybe you meditated, maybe you had a massage, maybe you've been appreciating someone, maybe you just woke up and haven't done anything to pull yourself down yet. In other words, maybe you haven't done that thing you do that diminishes your vibrational frequency. So here you are, your vibrational frequency and that of your source and that of your vortex is all the same. And so now you begin to be the realizer of the sameness. So you just feel good. And the thoughts that begin to waft into your mind, the thoughts that you begin to perceive because you're in the vibrational vicinity, and so you can easily translate them, as Esther is doing right now with our vibration. As those thoughts are flowing into your mind, Acknowledge that you are the translator of those thoughts. As you begin to deliberately acknowledge that you are tuned into who you are and what thoughts are coming, what you'll begin to notice is, Esther's been doing this a lot lately, and she's been telling anyone who will stand around and listen to her, I'm acting on my impulses a lot. I'm no longer writing it down as something to tend to later. She's doing her best that when an impulse comes, when she thinks of someone, that's the time to call them. When she thinks of something, that's the time to put it in the suitcase. When she thinks of something, she went to a house in another city with a car parked in her garage, and when she got there, she didn't have the keys to the car in the garage in the other city. And she thought, I thought about that over and over and over and over and over again. And instead of acting on it, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. So if you get so that you're tuned in more and more and more, and knowing that you are, and consciously acknowledging that you're translating the vibration of alignment into tangible, perceivable experiences of well-being, then the thought process that begins to flow. So what we're getting at is, this is the way. The cells of your body have been launching rockets of desire into the vortex too. Your cells have created a vibrational version of you. Which you are not helping them live sometimes. But when you're tuned in, when you're feeling good, when you're using every excuse that you can to feel good, when you're feeling good and then you're following the impulse, you're acting on the impulse, it's our promise to you. You're going to give them what they want. You're going to give them what they want when they want it. You're going to find yourself as this vital, efficient, good feeling, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, extension of source energy. You are translations of source energy. And the way you feel and how it's turning out is the evidence of how well, what kind of communication you got going on, you see.
Thank you so much.
You never get in your car, set the radio dial on a station that you don't like, and then demand that they play the songs you want to hear. I've been listening to you all day, and all I'm getting Spanish stuff. Spanish. I'd like something in English, please, and something popular. You don't demand, you tune. You tune to the frequency that allows you the receiving of what you're looking for. And you live in the most diverse, magnificent, leading edge environment to create with precision and detail the specifics of everything that you want. This is co-creation at its best, and you knew it when you came. We've taken supreme pleasure from this interaction. It's exhilarating to feel you in your alignment. We are eager about what is unfolding. It is our desire that you be easier about all of it. Leave this gathering with one thing on your mind: my receptivity. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain stubbornly in your vortex. You guys are wonderful. This is a really good day, huh?